Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and I am back again with Kelsey. How's it going?
Pretty good, thanks for having me.
You brought a ton of Amiibos.
Ton of Amiibos. I'm apparently missing about 15, which is more than I thought I was missing, but that's okay. So, Amiibos, what the heck are they? Why do people care? What are some of the cool ones, and what do they do? We're going to talk all about Amiibos today.
I only have a handful myself, so I am dying to learn all about this. So, let's take a look.
So what do you know about Amiibo?
Not much. They're made by Nintendo.
That's a good start.
Yes.
Good start. Okay. So, Amiibo are these little figurines. This is one from Legend of Zelda. They've got, it's a figure at its core, right?
Yeah.
But inside, on this part right here, it's got kind of a code that can be read by different Nintendo systems. It's
Right.
an NFC chip. So, lots of Nintendo systems have NFC readers in them, like the Wii U.
I forgot that the Wii U works with that. I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Yeah,
But
tons of Wii U games. I mean, like, the Smash series was the first one. So, Smash on the Wii U.
Okay.
With the 3DS, specifically the new 3DS, although you can use the old 3DS as long as you have one of these. This is just kind of like an Amiibo reader or an NFC reader for the older 3DS. And then it also works with the Switch. So they're continuing with these things.
Yeah.
And you want to know why they're continuing making these things?
I do.
Because the last time I checked, and this was 2016, they had sold 39 million of them.
Well, I'm not surprised because people got Amiibo crazy for a while.
I can't relate. I don't know what
That's
you're
true.
talking about.
Some people.
I stood in line at 4:30 in the morning for Rosalina, who was at the time a Target exclusive.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I have to say is that they look amazing.
They do.
I mean, that's the thing I think that stood out for me personally, because I do have some, and I bought the characters I like, because they do look incredible. They don't look cheap. They don't look like, I don't know, they're awesome.
Yeah, they look really nice. And I mean, to me, the stuff that they unlock or that they do for you in-game is almost kind of like a bonus. It's
Right.
really just me buying cool figures of all my favorite Nintendo things and some non-Nintendo things. I mean,
Yeah.
here's Cloud.
I have one of those. No, there's two of those. Oh, you have both.
I have both
Of
Clouds,
course.
actually, yes. So, yeah, I mean, at the core, they're just kind of like a figure, but they have basically DLC inside.
Yeah.
So it'll be mostly cosmetic or something kind of like unimportant, like it'll give you some extra lives or something like that. There's a couple exceptions to that. The Captain Toad Amiibo is one of them, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, in general, they're just really awesome figures. They cost like anywhere from, I think it's $13 is kind of the base price for them. Couple of them have cost a little bit more, like $20. I think my lovely Guardian Amiibo
One of
from
the biggest.
Zelda
Yeah.
was $20. And then there was a Mega Yarn Yoshi, which I'm still missing, and that
right.
one was more expensive, and I can't even remember how much it was now. But there's a few that are outside of that. But, $13 for a really nice looking figure. Most people just kind of collect their favorites, and that's good enough.
Well, the reason why I wanted to do this video is because, like I said, I don't really know that much about them, and I was kind of curious, like, are there ones that are maybe harder to find, or some of them that are kind of sought after, or maybe
Kind of.
Yeah.
So there's some that are, like, I have this one right here. This is Box Boy. QB, I think, is the name of the actual Amiibo itself. This is a Japan exclusive, so this one is kind of sought after because
Box Boy.
Box Boy.
Oh, he's a
Yeah.
box.
He has a box, yeah. He's cute. So, I mean, that's the only way to get this Amiibo. They never sold it independently,
Yeah.
and it's only in Japan. So you can't just buy the Amiibo in Japan. You have to buy the whole game, and if you don't have a Japanese 3DS,
Oh, wow.
the game is useless to you. So,
Okay.
this one's kind of one of the more sought-after ones. Another one of the more sought-after ones...
I've seen these before. Okay.
These are the gold and silver Mario ones, and these were advertised as being very limited release. They were only making so many of them. They were never going to make them again.
I remember seeing these advertised on Craigslist around that time, and people were asking, like, stupid prices
Oh
for
yeah,
them.
and to be fair, they did initially say that all of these were going to be limited and
Right.
that they were not going to reprint any, and the demand quickly showed them that was not the way to go. And then they've reprinted most of them since then. I mean, a lot of the ones that used to go for $50 or $60, they've been reprinted enough now to be not worth anything.
Is there any way to tell that you're aware of that it's a first print? Because you know how people care about that sort of stuff.
There sometimes.
Okay.
I know there's probably some ways on the boxes themselves, and I throw away most of the boxes, so I can't really help you there. But I know, for instance, this was one of the first Amiibos released. This is the Villager one, and I have a first print. Now, the second print of this one, his eyes are smaller, and it's pretty noticeable. He's got like kind of a larger forehead, and his eyes are smaller.
Oh, really?
So that one's really noticeable, whether or not you have the first or the second print. And I'm not sure if they maybe fixed it in, by print number 4 or whatever, but I just remember that when they finally re-released this, which was at the time the rarest Amiibo.
I remember hearing. And also too, what was it, the Wii Sports yoga?
The Wii Fit one. Gosh, it's been so long now, but the Holy Trinity, the trifecta of rare ones, were these two.
Oh, and Marth.
And
right?
Marth, that's right, yep. And Marth was actually the only Amiibo to date that I've overpaid for.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was the only one I actually went out and spent extra money on. So one of my favorite things about Amiibos in general is they made so many bundles, games that came with an Amiibo, and they look really cool. Like, there's just an Amiibo in here with the game. And they're always, obviously, if they bundle it together, it's going to be compatible with that game, right?
Sure. And now that Mario, is that different than any other Mario that you happen to have?
This is...
Like this one, he has the
so this is the Super Smash Brothers Mario. There's like 100 Mario Amiibos. It's crazy. This is called the Super Mario series Mario. It's the ones with these red bases. You'll see it on like Daisy and on Toad and the Goomba and that sort of thing. That was kind of like a separate series outside of the Smash one, but you could buy this one separately.
Okay.
So, kind of weird, I know. Now, there are a couple you couldn't buy separately. For instance, the Gold Mega Man Amiibo that came with the Mega Man Legacy Collection.
Okay.
So, this one's pretty cool.
I like how Nintendo opened it up to third parties. So it's not it's not just Nintendo characters.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. There's Monster Hunter Amiibos, which is awesome.
Right.
These ones, when I bought them, they were Japan exclusive. I can't remember if they actually ended up coming out.
I've never seen those before, but they're awesome.
They're really cool. And actually, here's what's super cool about them. The rider is removable. So, really the only part you need is kind of this bottom part, right? But if you wanted to change the riders around and put a different one on there, you totally can. Just
like how I used to when I was like Star Wars kids. It's
exactly.
Put them on a tauntaun, whatever.
So, tons and tons of stuff. Probably the biggest series outside of the Smash series is the Zelda one, because they just released so many, not just for Breath of the Wild. Some of these are, obvious Breath of the Wild ones, but some of them are for older games. There is like a Majora's Mask.
That's right. And they also
Link
have
here.
Wind Waker too.
Yeah, Skyward Sword, all kinds of just older games that they decided they needed another Link for. So I have so many Amiibos of just Link here, which is ridiculous. I really like the Splatoon Amiibos as well. Now, these will actually unlock some pretty cool extra content in the game. Not all of them. I think it's just the literal squid ones that unlock actual extra stages.
Oh, really?
But everything else will unlock like cosmetic things for you. A squid hairpin instead of whatever you can get in this.
Some sort of vanity thing.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of these are vanity things. It'll be things like unlocking a new racer skin in Mario Kart 8 or something like that.
Well, I know that the Breath of the Wild ones were pretty useful because it would drop loot from the sky, essentially.
Instead of having to go like forage basically for all of the things, mushrooms and whatever.
I did crack open my Amiibos for that.
Oh, I did too. Yeah. I actually had like a row of them that I'd just be like, all right, I never want to grab food again. I just want to have it always in front of me, and it made it really, really useful.
It did.
There's been some Metroid ones that were released for...
The Metroid ones I jumped all over.
Yeah. Well, I like this because it's squishy.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So you haven't opened mine.
You haven't opened yours. You don't get to squish it.
I know. That's so cool.
I like the ones that are a different texture, like the Yarn Yoshi as well. Yep. These ones are just like... And these ones were a little bit more expensive. But they're so cute. And they have like a little loop on them, so I feel like you could turn them into like an ornament or Christmas ornament or something if you wanted to.
You know what's interesting too, that they released all the retro ones, like these 8-bit ones.
Yeah,
and 16-bit ones, right?
These ones are really cool.
Yeah. Now, and did they have the? Oh, okay. It was the Super Mario Brothers 30th anniversary.
Yeah, and I want to say they came out kind of around the same time as Mario Maker.
Okay.
If I recall correctly. Mario Maker is another game where, like, almost all of these work. You can actually just, when you make your Mario Maker levels, you can just make, instead of Mario jumping, it can be like an Animal Crossing character
really?
jumping, or Little Mac or something like that. So that's really cool.
Very cool. And then also Bayonetta is another series.
Yeah, well, that's Smash series. That's still part of the Super Smash Brothers
Is it
series.
all part? Oh, I didn't know that. See,
Yeah,
I
so all
just
these
buy them
ones-
because I think they're cool.
Yeah, you can actually tell from the bottom of them. They'll have like a logo on them. So the bottom of this one has the Super Smash Bros. Logo. The Zelda ones that are not affiliated with Smash will have like an actual Zelda, like the crest on the bottom there.
Okay.
And yeah, all kinds of different things. There's a Shovel Knight amiibo.
That's one of the first ones I saw that was non-Nintendo, and I was like, whoa, it's an indie game.
Yeah.
I mean, that was unusual at the time.
This is another one of my favorites here. This is for the Hey Pikmin, the newer Pikmin game that came out. And this, I don't think there was an actual bundle. No, there wasn't a bundle with this, but you could buy this separately. And I really like this little...
Wow, it's actually pretty detailed.
Yeah, it's really detailed. And then there's the Animal Crossing ones, which I love, and right now are mostly useless because they work with this game that nobody likes, Amiibo Festival, which we've talked about before.
Yes, you've ranted about that before.
It's a terrible game, but this game actually requires Amiibo, and to my knowledge, this is like the only one that the only physical game you would buy in the store that requires Amiibo.
Went into Amiibos, and that's the. I mean, really?
I know this was such a colossal failure, but right now all of the figures for it are really cheap because no one cares, and I bet you anything that when a Switch Animal Crossing comes out, people are going to want these again.
Yeah, it's true.
That's my prediction. But the cool thing about... So, there's the Animal Crossing Amiibo, but there's also Animal Crossing Amiibo cards, and there's a ton of them. There's over 400 of them, and I'm missing 14.
So they have the little RF readers in there.
Exactly, yeah. So they're actually... The chip is small enough to fit inside of a card.
Okay.
So they have a couple different card series as well, and it works the exact same way where you just tap it on. But, the benefit to that is that you can sell the cards for $1 a piece as opposed to $13
and
per...
it's not only figures, right? It's actually like furniture and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's all people. It's all characters from the game. But they do different things. So in Animal Crossing New Leaf, that's the best use for them, in my opinion. In Animal Crossing New Leaf, you can tap any of those Animal Crossing cards of a villager, and then you can either invite them to your town. So if, let's say, you really wanted Marshall to live in your town, you can just kick someone out and replace him with Marshall if you have his card. So that's awesome. That's something all of us Animal Crossing fans have been wanting forever, is the ability to boot people and put our favorite villagers in there. But they can also just give you, like, items and, and money and that sort of thing. So, and then, on top of that, there's also special Animal Crossing cards that they look like they're in an RV, and it's got some furniture and stuff on the card itself, so maybe that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, that must be what I'm thinking.
It's got their face and some furniture.
Okay.
Now, those guys, they can join your town, but they actually will show up in this kind of separate area called the campsite, which is a feature that was actually, like, added to the game after it was already released.
Right.
And then from there, they'll have all this unique furniture that's not in the game yet, that you've never been able to buy through the store. And you can buy it from them and add even more furniture to I don't know exactly how many pieces of furniture it added to the game, but I would imagine it's probably at least 100 or so.
Okay.
So that's really cool. And there's also Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer. So all of those cards will do pretty much the same thing. It'll just be you get that villager to then design a house for and get their furniture from that too.
So I'm dying to know, out of all your Amiibos, what are your, like, top 5?
Oh, man. That's really tough. I'm really partial to the Yarn Yoshi Amiibos. I think they look really good.
And they're soft.
Yeah, they're really different than the rest of them. I really like my Animal Crossing ones. I think I gotta mention the Famicom Colored Rob one,
I know,
though.
yeah.
And this was a Japan exclusive, because this is actually the color that Rob was. You know, he matched the Famicom in Japan. So this was the color he was released as in Japan, but then everyone wanted it so much here that they ended up just just releasing it here, too. And I'm realizing now that I'm missing a couple of mine. Like, I'm looking around for Pikachu, and Pikachu's not here.
I always like the Kirby ones.
I like the Kirby ones, too. They're cute.
Who doesn't like Kirby?
Yeah.
Come on.
So there's all kinds of really cute ones. Oh, I think I really like... Some of the Smash ones are so detailed. Like, this Palutena one, she's got these clear... kind of like halo thing behind her and this staff and everything. I mean, it's just so... Some of these are just so detailed. They look amazing.
Also, I really like the wedding.
Oh, I do too. The textures on these are great.
I know.
And it's funny because when Amiibos were first announced, I remember seeing them in like a glass case at PAX. And they were even more detailed when they showed them off. Yeah, and I assume they probably were like, okay, we have to cut down costs a little bit. Because when I saw the Peach Amiibo was one of the first ones that they showed off. And instead of this kind of like design on her dress, it was actually like engraved in. Oh. In their, you know, when they were showing it off to get you really excited about it, I guess. So thankfully, these are not super difficult to find anymore. There's some exceptions. I mean, some of them are kind of... for the moment out of print, right? Like they're not making them right this second, but it seems to me like they're going to continue making all of them just until they stop selling, you know?
You're able to find them sometimes going into pawn shops and thrift stores. There won't be a ton, but usually in a glass case they've got a couple in there, you know, or at retro gaming stores too.
Totally.
You can find some there too.
And they're usually not more than $12 a piece.
Yeah.
It just depends. Like I said, there are some ones that are pretty rare. When after Breath of the Wild came out, they didn't really re-release any of the older Zelda ones, and they were kind of limited on the Breath of the Wild ones that they put out. So those were in really high demand because, like you said, they're so useful in the game.
I know.
So you really want them. So those shot up in price, but they're starting to settle back down a little bit because they've been re-releasing them. Nintendo seems to have kind of gotten the point by this point. A couple years ago, this video would have been full-on panic. Like, I can't get anything. I've been up until 3 a.m.
I know.
And I used to do that. I mean, I wanted all of these Amiibos, and so when they were really, really hard to find, I had alerts on my phone. I would roll over and wake up at 2:30 sometimes because an alert went off, and I would quickly get on Target.com and get the exclusive Jigglypuff Amiibo and roll back over. But you know, I got pretty good at it.
It reminds me is that when I was younger, I was obsessed with collecting Star Wars Kenner Star Wars figures, and I had to have them all.
All of them.
You know, every character in the background of a shot, I didn't care. I had to have them all. And so I see this right here, and that part of me, that collective, you know, part is it's full on. And actually, these are frankly nicer than a lot of Star Wars figures. I mean, they're posed, which I like. They're not just standing straight.
Not just the kind of straightforward.
Yeah, they're cool.
I think I counted about 130 here, and I know I'm missing a couple that I left at home because they're everywhere. They're like just teeming out of every little nook and cranny.
She came with 4 bags of them.
Yeah. That's a lot. It actually, I'm surprised they all fit on the table.
I know.
They seem to not fit anywhere in my collection, so.
You'll have to leave them here. I think that's what that means.
No.
Yeah, I'll keep good care of them. No, I don't have room. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for sharing this. We've been planning on doing this video for a while because, like I said, I rarely run into all of these. It's cool to see them. So. I
wish I had the last 10 or 15 that I'm missing here so I could show off the complete Amiibo collection. But this is pretty close.
It's pretty close. That's awesome. Well, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Kelsey Lewin, on my YouTube channel, which is just youtube.com/Kelsey Lewin. I also just started a Twitch, believe it or not.
I know you've been on Twitch quite a bit.
I know, and it's unfortunately not branded the same at all. So it's twitch.tv/Tentakels. It's like tentacles, but with Kels at the end. Anyways, so...
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, thanks very much for doing this. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and take care. Bye-bye. I know this video is a little bit different than what I normally cover on my channel, but it's fun to kind of dig into some of the nuances of video game collecting. Speaking of, I didn't mention it in the video, but it totally reminds me of the Funko Pop figures, which as you guys know, also has a bunch of pop culture in it and video games. And I know a lot of people who collect Amiibos and those pop figures, but again, it's like I don't have the room for that stuff. I mean, they're super cool, but I just can't do it. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Have a great day.